Welcome, my friend. Welcome back to this quiet space we share together. I'm so glad you are here tonight. Sit down. Breathe out. You do not have to be okay right now. You only have to be here. I want to begin tonight with something gentle, something true, something most people will never tell you. You are stronger than you think you are. You are stronger than you feel today. And you are stronger than the version of yourself that lives inside your worst thoughts. If you have ever felt small while carrying so much, this video is for you. If you have ever cried at midnight and still showed up at work the next morning, this video is for you. If you have ever smiled in front of people who would never understand the weight inside your chest, this video is for you. And if you have ever wondered quietly, am I weak? Am I broken? Am I too much? Then please stay. Please listen. Because tonight we are going to look at 9 signs that prove the opposite. Most people do not feel mentally strong. They feel tired. They feel uncertain. They feel like they are barely holding the day together. And they assume that because they feel that way, they must be weak. But that is the lie we have to break tonight. Mental strength does not feel like power. It feels like persistence. It feels like waking up again. It feels like loving people who hurt you, working through pain, and choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. Here is something most people will never tell you. The truly strong almost never feel strong. They feel ordinary. They feel small. They feel like they are just barely making it. Meanwhile, weak people often feel powerful. They sound certain. They look untouchable. They sleep just fine on top of unkept promises. So please, do not measure your strength by how strong you feel. Measure it by what you keep doing while you feel the way you feel. You may not see your strength, but the world sees it. The people who watch you keep going see it. And by the end of tonight, you will see it too. I made this video for 2 kinds of people. The first is the human inside you who is exhausted and needs to be reminded who they really are. The second is the student inside you who wants to learn English in a way that feels like medicine, not homework. Tonight, you will heal a little, and tonight, you will learn a lot. 2 gifts in one evening. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is here to walk beside you. I am not here to lecture. I'm not here to perform. I am here to sit with you, slowly, in this quiet space we built together. If anything in tonight's video touches your heart, please subscribe. Not because I need it, but because every time you press that small red button, you tell the algorithm to keep showing this video to another tired person. You become part of someone else's healing. That is a beautiful thing. Tonight we will walk through 9 signs. 9 quiet, almost invisible signs. Signs that you have been mentally strong all along, even when no one named it. Each one will feel like a soft mirror. Each one will reveal something you have been doing for years, without praise, without applause, without recognition. And by the end, my friend, I hope you finally see what I see. A person who has been brave for far longer than they have been thanked. So take sign 1. You feel deeply, but still function. Most people misunderstand this. They think mentally strong people do not feel much. They think strength is about being cold, distant, untouched. But that is a Hollywood lie. The truth is the opposite. The strongest minds feel everything. The pain, the beauty, the unfairness, the love. They feel it all in full color. And still, they keep moving. Here is the truth most people miss. Feeling deeply is not weakness. Feeling deeply while still showing up is one of the rarest forms of human strength. To wake up with a heavy heart and still make breakfast. To carry sadness in your chest and still answer your messages with patience. To feel the world's weight and still smile at the cashier. That is not numbness. That is not coping. That is quiet, unshakable strength. You see, anyone can function when they feel nothing. The real test is functioning when you feel everything. When the news breaks your heart and you still finish your work. When someone disappoints you and you still treat them with grace. When grief sits beside you on the train and you still get to your stop on time.
That is mental muscle most people will never develop. That is not luck. That is not personality. That is daily, hidden, unglorified strength.
Think about how often you do this without noticing. You wake up under a heavy fog. You make tea. You answer a text. You finish a task. You smile at someone who needs the smile more than you do.
The world calls that ordinary. I call it sacred. Because every soft, ordinary act of yours is happening on top of a private war the world will never see. Imagine a small candle in a dark room. The wind is loud against the windows. The cold is pressing in from every wall. The whole world outside is heavy and bitter. And yet, that small candle keeps burning. It does not pretend it is not cold. It does not pretend the wind is not there. It just keeps shining, soft and steady. Because that is what a candle is born to do. The flame trembles. The flame bends. But the flame does not go out. You are that candle. The wind is real. The cold is real. The pain is real. And still, you are still here. Still burning. Still warm to the people who sit beside you. There was a woman named Selena. She felt everything. The argument with a friend stayed in her body for days. A sad song could change her whole afternoon. She used to think this made her broken. She used to think strong people did not feel like this. So she tried to harden. She tried to stop caring. She tried to be the cold, untouchable woman she saw on TV. And she only became more tired. One evening, her grandmother held her hand and said, "Selena, you are not too soft. You are deeply tuned. The world needs people who can still feel it. Do not punish yourself for what makes you human," Selena cried. For the first time, she stopped fighting her own heart. And from that night, she stopped seeing her sensitivity as a flaw. She started seeing it as a gift. "I feel everything," she would later say, "and I still get out of bed. That makes me one of the strongest people I know." So today, my friend, your first sign means you have been brave in a way few people understand. Honor it by doing this. First, stop apologizing for feeling deeply. The next time tears come, do not call them weakness. Call them honesty. Second, give yourself 10 quiet minutes a day with no phone. Let your feelings finish their sentence. Third, write one line at night. Today I felt blank, and I still showed up. Fourth, choose one person who can hear your real heart and tell them one true thing this week. Fifth, when someone calls you too sensitive, do not argue. Just smile inside, because you know what that sensitivity has survived. So from today, say this: I feel deeply. I keep going. And both are true at the same time. That is sign 1. You feel deeply, but still function. Because real strength is not the absence of feeling. It is the courage to feel and still walk forward. Sign 2. You apologize without losing yourself. Most people cannot do this. They either refuse to apologize at all, because saying sorry feels like dying, or they apologize too much and lose themselves completely, becoming someone who says sorry just for existing. But you, my friend, you have learned something rare. You can say, "I was wrong," without falling apart. You can take responsibility without taking on shame. And that is a sign of a deep, quiet strength most people never build. Here is the truth. A weak ego cannot apologize. A broken self-esteem apologizes for everything. But a strong, settled mind can say, "Yes, I made a mistake. I see it. I own it. And I am still a person worthy of love." That sentence is harder than any push-up. It is one of the heaviest weights a human ego can lift. And every time you lift it, your character grows. You see, mentally weak people confuse apology with humiliation. They think if they admit fault, they become smaller. So they fight. They explain. They defend. They twist the story. They blame the other person.
anything to avoid those two simple words. But you have walked through that fear. You have learned that I am sorry does not erase you. It refines you. Imagine an old oak tree standing alone in an open field. A storm comes through one night. One of its big branches falls in the wind. In the morning, the tree does not pretend the branch is still there. It does not pretend the storm did not happen. It simply lets the broken branch drop to the earth, where new grass will grow around it. The tree is still rooted. The tree is still tall. The tree is still itself, just more honest. You are that oak. When you apologize, you are not collapsing. You are letting a broken branch fall so the rest of you can keep growing. There was a man named Daniel. He was raised in a house where saying sorry was punished. To admit a mistake meant to be mocked, blamed, used. So Daniel grew up defending everything. Every argument with his wife became a courtroom. Every misunderstanding with his children became a battle of pride. One day, his oldest daughter, only 10 years old, looked up at him and said, "Daddy, why do you never just say sorry?" That sentence broke something in him. He sat in his car after work that evening and cried. The next morning, he walked into the kitchen and said, "I was wrong yesterday. I am sorry," I shouted. His daughter ran into his arms. He did not feel smaller. He felt taller. From that day, Daniel learned that an apology was not surrender. "Saying sorry," he would say, "is the strongest sentence I have ever spoken." So today, my friend, your second sign means you have a kind of dignity that does not need to win. Honor it by doing this. First, choose one person you have hurt this year, even slightly, and send them an honest message. Not long, just real. Second, when you apologize, do not add "but." Let the sorry stand alone. Third, if someone refuses to accept your apology, do not chase them. You did your part. Their healing is theirs. Fourth, separate guilt from shame. Guilt says, "I did something wrong." Shame says, "I am wrong." Refuse the second one. Fifth, every time you successfully apologize, whisper this to yourself: "I am still whole." So from today, say this: "I can be wrong. I can say sorry. And I will still be whole when the words are spoken." That is sign 2. You apologize without losing yourself, because only a strong identity can bend without breaking. Sign 3. You let people leave without bitterness. This is one of the hardest signs to spot in yourself, because it never feels strong. It feels sad. It feels lonely. It feels like loss. But the ability to let people go without poisoning your heart is one of the deepest signs of mental health a human can have. Most people cannot do it. They turn every leaving into hatred, every distance into enemy lines, every ending into a story where they are the victim and the other person is the villain. But you, somehow, have learned to release without revenge. Here is the truth. Bitterness is the easy choice. Forgiveness is the strong one. When someone walks out of your life, your ego will offer you 1,000 reasons to hate them. But the mentally strong person looks at the empty chair and says, "I wish you well. I wish me well, too. We just could not walk together anymore." That is not weakness. That is mountain-level peace. You see, the people who hold grudges look powerful from the outside. They sound sharp. They sound certain. They sound right. But inside, they are slowly being eaten by the very poison they keep brewing. Bitterness is the only fire that burns the one who keeps lighting it. By choosing not to drink that poison, you are not being naive. You are being free. Imagine a river that has been blocked by a wall of stones. For years, the river pushes against the wall. The water rises, the pressure builds, the river loses its rhythm. But one day, the river simply finds another path. It moves around the wall. It carves a new way through the soft earth. The wall stays where it was, but the river keeps flowing, clearer than before.
You are that river. The people who left, the people who hurt you, they are the wall. You are not weaker for moving around them. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are still flowing. There was a woman named Arya. She had a best friend for 12 years. They shared everything. Then one day, that friend stopped answering her messages. No fight, no reason, just silence. Arya was devastated. For months, she cycled through every emotion. Anger, confusion, self-blame. She wrote long, unsent letters. She rehearsed conversations in the shower. And then, one quiet morning, sitting by her window with a cup of tea, she whispered, "I hope she is okay. I hope she is happy. I hope life is gentle with her, even if she cannot be in mine." A weight she had carried for a year fell off her shoulders that morning. She did not become friends with that person again, but she became free of her. Letting her go, Arya said, did not mean she did not matter. It meant I mattered too. So today, my friend, your third sign means your heart has chosen growth over grudges. Honor it by doing this. First, name one person you have been quietly hating, and write down what they taught you, even if the lesson was painful. Second, stop checking their social media. Closure does not live there. Third, replace one bitter sentence with a neutral one. Instead of, "They ruined me," say, "They were part of my story." Fourth, give yourself permission to grieve the relationship without rewriting it as evil. Fifth, every night for a week, before sleep, whisper, "I release them. I keep my peace." So, from today, say this: I can let people leave. I can stay soft. And I will not poison my own heart to punish theirs. That is sign 3. You let people leave without bitterness. Because freedom is heavier than revenge, and you have chosen to carry the heavier thing. Sign 4. You ask for help when it matters. A lot of people pretend to be strong by refusing every hand that reaches for them. They confuse independence with isolation. They believe that asking for help is the first crack in their armor. But you, my friend, you have done something many never do. You have learned that asking for help is not surrender. It is intelligence. It is humility. It is one of the highest forms of self-respect. There is the truth most people never accept. The mentally strong are not the ones who carry everything alone. They are the ones who know exactly when to put the load down and say the 4 hardest words in any language. I cannot do this alone. Saying that is not failure. It is the difference between drowning quietly and being saved, between burning out alone and being seen. You see, the world rewards people who suffer in silence. It calls them brave. It calls them admirable. But silent suffering is not strength. Silent suffering is slow erosion. The truly strong are the ones who break the silence early enough to still be saved. They go to the therapist. They call the friend. They open up to the partner. They lift the phone. They knock on the door. That is not weakness. That is wisdom that took years to build. Imagine a king living in a giant palace with 50 servants standing in every hallway. He is hungry. He is thirsty. His feet are tired. But he refuses to ask anyone for anything. He drags himself across the marble floors, telling himself that needing help is shameful. The servants stand by, ready, waiting, willing. But he never opens his mouth. He grows weaker every day in a palace full of help. You have lived in that palace. We all have. The day you finally said, "I need a hand," was the day you stopped being a starving king. You became a wise one. There was a man named Hugo. He was the family rock, the reliable one, the brother everyone called when they were falling apart. He carried everyone's stories, problems, debts. But he never told a single soul about his own. For years, he believed that asking for help would make him just like the people he supported. One winter, he could not get out of bed for 3 days. His sister found him there, eyes empty. She did not say much. She just sat on the edge of the bed and said, "Hugo, It is your turn to be carried. He cried for an hour. He let her drive him to a counselor. He let her cook for him. He let himself be small. 3 months later, Hugo said, "I thought letting people help me would shrink me. It actually saved me. The strongest thing I ever did was raise my hand." So today, my friend, your 4th sign means you understand the math of being human. Honor it by doing this. First, identify one area in your life where you are quietly drowning, and name it. Second, choose one person who has earned the right to know your real story, and tell them this week. Third, if no human is safe yet, at least tell a journal. Words on paper are help too. Fourth, say out loud, asking for help is a skill, not a shame. Fifth, build a small list of 3 people you can call on a hard day, and let them know they are on it. So from today, say this: I can be strong and still need help. I can be capable and still ask. And I will reach out before I run out. That is sign 4. You ask for help when it matters. Because the strongest people in any room are the ones who know they are not alone. Sign 5. You set boundaries even when it feels harsh. Most people cannot do this. They are so afraid of disappointing others that they say yes to things that drain them, agree to plans that break them, accept treatment that wounds them. They call this kindness. But it is not kindness. It is fear wearing kindness as a costume. You, my friend, have learned to do the harder, holier thing. You have learned to say no with love. Here is the truth. A boundary is not a wall. A boundary is a door. A door that decides who comes in and how often and how much of you they get. People without boundaries are houses with no doors. Anyone walks in, anyone takes, anyone leaves a mess. And the owner of the house wonders why they always feel exhausted, used, depleted. By learning to set boundaries, you have stopped being a hallway. You have started being a home. You see, mentally weak people fear boundaries because they fear being disliked. They will burn themselves out before they will let someone be slightly upset with them. But strength is not measured by how many people approve of you. Strength is measured by how well you can stand alone with your own peace, even when others try to guilt-trip you into giving it up. Imagine a wooden cabin in a quiet forest. The cabin has a door. The door has a lock. Not because the cabin hates the world, but because the cabin knows that some weather should stay outside. Storms, wild animals, cold nights. The cabin does not feel guilty for closing its door. It feels safe. The fire inside stays warm. The candles stay lit. The owner can rest. You are that cabin. Your boundaries are not cruelty. They are the reason your inner fire never goes out completely. There was a woman named Naomi. She was raised to be the helper of the family. Whatever anyone needed, she gave. Time, money, energy. Apologies she did not owe. By 30, she had nothing left for herself. One evening, her cousin called and demanded she come over to fix yet another problem. For the first time in her life, Naomi paused, took a breath, and said quietly, "I love you, and I cannot tonight." The line went silent. Then her cousin said something cruel and hung up. Naomi cried. She felt guilty. She wanted to call back, but she did not. She held the silence. 3 days later, the world had not ended. She was still loved. She was still herself. She had simply added a door to her house. That one, no, Naomi said years later, started my whole life. So today, my friend, your 5th sign means you finally understand that love without limits becomes loss of self. Honor it by doing this. First, identify one relationship where you are constantly overgiving, and name what you would change if guilt did not exist. Second, practice one short, kind no this week. I love you, and I cannot. Third, do not over-explain.
Strong boundaries do not need essays. Fourth, expect some people to push back and prepare for it. That pushback is proof the boundary was needed. Fifth, after you set a boundary, do something kind for yourself within the hour. Reward the muscle. So from today, say this: I can love you and still say no. I can care and still protect myself. And my no is part of my love. That is sign 5. You set boundaries even when it feels harsh. Because protecting your peace is not selfish. It is sacred. Sign 6. You keep your word to yourself. This one is small. This one is invisible. No one applauds it. No one even sees it. But it is one of the deepest signs of mental strength that exists. You said you would go to bed earlier, and you did. You said you would stop replying to that toxic person, and you did. You said you would walk this morning, and you did. Every tiny promise you keep to yourself is a brick in the temple of your self-respect. And you have been building that temple for years, even when you did not realize it. Here is the truth most people never grasp. You can lie to the world and survive. You can disappoint other people and still be loved. But every time you break a promise to yourself, a small part of your self-trust dies. And without self-trust, no amount of motivation, planning, or therapy will ever truly stick. Mental strength is not built in big moments. It is built in the quiet, unwitnessed moments where you do what you said you would do, even when you do not feel like it. That is the secret. You see, weak character treats inner promises as suggestions. Strong character treats them as contracts. Not rigid, not cruel, just kept. When you say to yourself, "Tonight I will rest," and you actually rest, you are teaching your nervous system, "I am someone who can be trusted." When you say, "I will not text them back tonight," and you do not, you are telling your soul, "We are safe in our own hands." Imagine a small garden in your backyard. For years it was ignored. Weeds grew, soil dried, the flowers gave up. Then one day you started watering it. Just 5 minutes a day. Some days you almost forgot. Some days you did not feel like it. But every day you went out, watered, pulled a weed, whispered to the soil, "I am still here." Months passed, then years. And one morning, you woke up to a garden so full of green and color that strangers stopped on the sidewalk to admire it. You did not build that garden in one weekend. You built it in 1,000 quiet promises. Your inner life is that garden. There was a man named Idris. For years he had broken every promise he ever made to himself. Diets dropped by week 2. Books abandoned by chapter 3. Workouts skipped after a single bad day. He started to believe he was just a flaky person. One day, he made one tiny vow. "I will drink a glass of water every morning before my coffee." That was it. Nothing heroic. He kept that promise for 30 days, then 60, then a year. From that one promise, Idris started keeping bigger ones, then bigger ones. By his 40th birthday, he was a man of his word. "I rebuilt my whole life," Idris said, "out of a single glass of water." So today, my friend, your 6th sign means you have been quietly rewriting your inner contract for years. Honor it by doing this. First, choose one absurdly small promise and keep it for 30 days. Tiny is the secret. Second, never break a promise to yourself for someone else's comfort. That is the most expensive trade in the world. Third, when you fail, do not call yourself names. Just rewrite the contract softly and start again tomorrow. Fourth, write your wins down. A small notebook. Today, I did what I said. Fifth, treat your future self like a beloved friend. Make their life easier with the choices you make today. So from today, say this: I keep my word to myself. I trust the person I am becoming, and every kept promise builds me.
That is sign 6. You keep your word to yourself. Because the foundation of every strong mind is the quiet, unbroken trust you have with the person in the mirror. Sign 7. You sit with hard emotions instead of running. Most of the world is on the run. Running from sadness with food. Running from loneliness with screens. Running from grief with busyness. Running from anger with alcohol. Running. Running. Always running. But you, my friend, somewhere along the way, you stopped running. You learned to sit, to breathe, to let the storm pass through you instead of around you. That is one of the deepest forms of mental strength a human can develop, and almost no one notices when you do it. Here is the truth. Hard emotions do not disappear when you avoid them. They wait. They wait in your shoulders. They wait in your sleep. They wait in your reactions. They wait in your relationships. The only real way through them is through them. The strong are not the ones who never feel sad. They are the ones who can sit on the floor with their sadness, look it in the eye, and say, "I see you. I am not afraid of you. Tell me what you came to say." That conversation, repeated through life, is what builds an unshakable mind. You see, the avoidance generation has trained itself to scroll the moment any uncomfortable feeling appears. A heavy thought arrives. The phone lifts. A lonely night begins. The show plays. A grief surfaces. A snack is opened. But you have practiced something rarer. You have practiced staying. And staying is the strongest verb in the language of healing. Imagine a stormy sea on a long winter night. Big waves, cold wind, rain hitting the deck of a small boat. A weak captain panics, runs below deck, locks the door, and pretends nothing is happening. A strong captain stays at the wheel, hands on the wood, eyes on the horizon, wet to the bone. He does not pretend the storm is not there. He does not fight every wave personally. He simply rides them, one by one, until dawn. By morning, the sea is calm again. The boat is still afloat. The captain is tired but proud. You are that captain. The waves are real. The storm is real. But you keep your hands on the wheel. There was a woman named Maya. For most of her 20s, she ran from herself. The moment she felt sad, she would call someone, scroll something, eat something, drink something. She had not been alone with her own thoughts in years. After a hard breakup, she finally crashed. She had no energy left to run. So one Saturday, she sat on her bedroom floor. No phone, no music, no distractions. The pain hit her like a wave. She cried so hard she shook, but she stayed. She breathed. She let it move through her. 2 hours passed. Then a strange peace came. "I thought sitting with my pain would destroy me," Maya later said. "It actually freed me. I learned that I could survive my own feelings. That changed everything." So today, my friend, your 7th sign means you have stopped being afraid of your own inner weather. Honor it by doing this. First, when a hard feeling rises, do not reach for your phone for 90 seconds. Just feel it. 90 seconds is the average wavelength of an emotion. Second, name it. I feel grief. I feel anger. I feel envy. Naming reduces the size. Third, place a hand on your chest and say, "It is okay to feel this. It will not break me." Fourth, write the feeling a short note. "Dear sadness, what are you trying to tell me?" Fifth, schedule 1 quiet hour a week with no input. No phone, no music, no podcast. Let your soul speak. So, from today, say this. I can sit with my pain. I can breathe through my storms. And I do not run from what I feel. That is sign 7. You sit with hard emotions instead of running. Because the bravest seat in the world is the one in front of your own inner storm. Sign 8. You choose growth over comfort again and again. Most people never grow because growth is uncomfortable. It is awkward. It is humbling. It exposes how much you do not know. So they stay where they are. Same job, same patterns, same arguments, same disappointments. They confuse familiarity with safety. But you, somewhere along the line, you made a different choice. You chose the harder room, the honest conversation, the new skill, the therapy session, the book that challenged you, the mirror you did not want to look in. And every time you chose growth over comfort, you became a stronger version of yourself. Here is the truth. Comfort is a beautiful prison. It feels safe, but it does not change you. The mentally weak run toward comfort like a child runs to sugar. The mentally strong understand that real safety lives on the other side of growth, not before it. They voluntarily walk into the discomfort, knowing the discomfort is temporary, but the version of themselves on the other side is permanent. You see, no one becomes strong inside their comfort zone. Strength is built only at the edges, the edge of fear, the edge of skill, the edge of patience, the edge of humility. Every time you stand at one of those edges and step a little forward, your nervous system upgrades, your character expands, your future widens. You may not feel any different in the moment, but months later, you turn around and realize you are not who you were. Imagine an old water pump in the middle of a dry desert. For years, no one used it. Sand collected, the handle stiffened. People walked past it, sure it was broken. Then one day, a thirsty traveler stopped and pumped the handle. The first pumps were dry, hard, painful. Nothing came up. But he kept pumping. After many strokes, dirty brown water came up. He kept pumping. Then clearer water. Then the sweetest, coldest water in the desert. Growth is that pump. The first strokes are always painful and dry, but you, my friend, have kept pumping. And now, fresh water is rising in places that used to be sand. There was a man named Elias. At 35, his life was comfortable but quietly miserable. Same routine, same numbness. He decided to enroll in a class that scared him. Public speaking. The first session, his voice trembled so badly the instructor stopped him with a kind smile. He wanted to quit. But he did not. He went back the next week, and the next. 6 months later, he was the one helping new students breathe through their fear. 2 years later, he gave a speech in front of 1,000 people. I did not choose growth because it was fun, Elias said. I chose it because I was tired of being a smaller version of myself. So today, my friend, your 8th sign means you would rather be uncomfortable than stuck. Honor it by doing this. First, identify one comfort that has become a cage. Name it. Second, choose one small, uncomfortable action this week and do it. Send the email. Make the call. Say the truth. Third, schedule one regular form of growth. A class, a coach, a course, a book club. Fourth, every time you grow, expect resistance. From your mind, from your circle, from your old self. Fifth, when growth feels lonely, remember that on the other side of every uncomfortable season, a stronger self is waiting to thank you. So from today, say this. I choose growth over comfort. I choose courage over ease. And I am becoming a person my future self will thank. That is sign 8. You choose growth over comfort, again and again. Because comfort keeps you the same, but discomfort builds the person you were always meant to be. Sign 9. You stay kind in a world that wasn't kind to you. This is perhaps the most beautiful sign of all. The world has not been gentle with you. It has misread you, underpaid you, underloved you, misunderstood you. Some people have used you, lied to you, walked away when you were drowning. And yet, you are still kind, still gentle, still the person who lets a stranger merge in traffic, still the one who texts back even when you are tired, still the friend
who shows up. The world tried to harden you, and you chose to stay soft. That, my friend, is the highest level of strength a human can reach. Here is the truth. Cruelty is easy. Bitterness is easy. Becoming cold is the path of least resistance. Anyone can become hard after enough betrayal. But choosing softness after being hurt, choosing love after being misused, choosing kindness after being humiliated, that is the rarest, holiest form of strength on this earth. It is not naive. It is not weak. It is a deliberate, sacred refusal to let the worst of the world write the rest of your story. You see, kindness after pain is not the same as kindness before it. The first is innocence. The second is wisdom. The first costs nothing. The second costs everything and pays back even more. The world will tell you that staying kind is foolish. Stay kind anyway. The world will mock your softness. Stay soft anyway, because the people who carry gentleness through fire are the ones who change the world quietly, one human encounter at a time. Imagine a small clay pot that fell to the ground and broke. A skilled artisan picked up the pieces and put them back together with golden glue. The cracks are still there. They did not vanish, but now, where the cracks used to be, lines of gold shine. The pot is no longer the same. It is more beautiful than it ever was before it fell. The world looks at it and sees something it never saw before, a beauty that was only possible after breaking. You are that pot. The cracks are real. The pain was real. But your kindness, your softness, your refusal to become bitter, that is the gold running through every line of your story. There was a man named Nathan. He had been betrayed by people who promised to love him forever. He had been laid off after years of loyalty. He had buried friends. He had reasons, real reasons, to be hard. But every morning, he greeted the bus driver by name. He helped his elderly neighbor with groceries. He left generous tips even when his own bills were tight. People asked him, "How are you still this kind after everything?" He smiled and said, "Because if I become cold, the people who hurt me win twice. Once for what they did, and again for who I became after. I refuse to give them the second victory." Nathan did not stay kind because life was easy. He stayed kind because his soul was strong. So today, my friend, your 9th sign means you have already won the deepest battle a human can fight. Honor it by doing this. First, every morning, choose one person you will be unexpectedly kind to that day. A stranger, a co-worker, a family member. Second, when someone is rude to you, pause before responding. Choose intention over reaction. Third, do not let bitter people pull you into their language. Stay in yours. Fourth, every night, name one moment you stayed soft when you could have hardened. Honor it. Fifth, remember that your kindness is not a weakness others can exploit. It is a strength others can heal beside. So from today, say this: the world was harsh. I am still soft, and my softness is my strongest answer. That is sign 9. You stay kind in a world that wasn't kind to you. Because keeping your heart open after it has been broken is the rarest form of courage that exists. So here we are, my friend, at the end of our 9 signs. Take a breath. Let it all settle. Sign 1. You feel deeply but still function. Sign 2. You apologize without losing yourself. Sign 3. You let people leave without bitterness. Sign 4. You ask for help when it matters. Sign 5. You set boundaries even when it feels harsh. Sign 6. You keep your word to yourself. Sign 7. You sit with hard emotions instead of running. Sign 8. You choose growth over comfort again and again. Sign 9. You stay kind in a world that wasn't kind to you. Now look at that list again. Slowly. Honestly. How many of those signs describe you? 3, 5, 7, all 9. Whatever the number is, please understand. You did not get to where you are by being weak. You got here by being far stronger than you ever gave yourself credit for. You may have called yourself anxious. You may have called yourself broken. You may have called yourself a mess. But the world calls what you have been doing something else. The world calls it resilience. You are the friend who keeps showing up. You are the parent who keeps trying. You are the worker who keeps building. You are the dreamer who keeps believing. You are the human who keeps loving, even after love has left bruises. You are stronger than the version of yourself you see in the mirror on bad days. You are stronger than the inner critic that keeps whispering you are not enough. You are stronger than your last failure, your last heartbreak, your last collapse. So tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your chest. Feel that quiet heartbeat. That heart has carried you through everything, every loss, every betrayal, every long night. It never stopped. It is still here. And so are you. Say this with me. I am tired, but I am still here. I have been hurt, but I am still kind. I have been broken, but I am still building. I am stronger than I think. I am stronger than I feel. And from tonight on, I will start to believe it. If even one of these 9 signs touched something inside you, do me one small favor. Drop the word strong in the comments. Just that one word. So I know you saw yourself tonight. So I know we walked together. So another tired person scrolling through, looking for a reason to keep going, will see your comment and remember, they are not alone. And if this video reminded you of who you really are, please subscribe. Not for me. For the next person who needs to be reminded too. Thank you for sitting with me tonight. Thank you for letting these words in. Thank you for being the kind of person who looks for healing instead of escape. Sleep well, my friend. Walk softly tomorrow. And remember, you have always been stronger than you think. Stay strong. Stay soft. Stay rising.